I only wish that a few years from now they get caught and she'll come back to me. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss another cheating story goes live. My wife and I have been together since 2000 and married in 2003. We have a 12 and a 14-year-old daughter together. The most part our relationship has been happy and good, although at times we would argue and fight. My wife has expressed that I wasn't affectionate enough, and after some time and 20 years together we started to live more like roommates than a happily married couple. About 6 months ago my wife stopped being intimate with me as she was going through menopause and that we were turning 50. She needed some time and hoped her body would settle down eventually and we could get back to a more normal life. After several months and no changes, I asked again if we could start to be physically close and intimate again, to which she again did not feel ready. This was difficult and caused some friction. I kept trying to find ways to get her in the mood or to want to be close, to no avail. Finally, after pestering her too much, I guess she came clean and told me about 3.5 months ago that the lack of intimacy wasn't really the menopause, but because she had met someone and he was her soulmate and she was in love. So sex was happening, just not with me. While our marriage has never been perfect, I was in absolute shock of what she was telling me. My wife told me she felt unhappy. She no longer loves me as a husband and only sees a future with him. This man, who I don't know by name, is married as well. I've come to learn he's 48. According to my wife, they are unhappy and live like roommates. They share 5 children between them, 2 of which are nearly 7 years old and the others split between middle school and starting in high school. She said that it went from text and talk to meeting and sex and then love. She emphasized that they were soulmates. I was crushed and left the home for a few days as I didn't know how to process the information. I came home, and while she was willing to talk about it, she cried with me because of the pain it caused me. She still wanted to see this through with this man. My wife wanted to tell me about the affair to come clean so I can move on. This man has not told his wife and plans not to for a few years till his kids are out of high school, which is like 4 years. I assume he wants to avoid paying years of alimony and child support if he can. My wife has in theory agreed to his idea and wants to stay home until our kids are out of high school as well, which at the moment I'm allowing because I'm too shell-shocked to move, let alone kick her out. People keep telling me she's in limerence and it's not love, but it sounds and feels real to me. I love my wife, and while I was never the perfect husband, I want to fight and try to show her I love her and want us to remain a family. I realize I may be fighting an uphill battle. My wife will jump at the drop of a hat if this guy is available to meet for 45 minutes. Which is usually the small bit of time that he is available for her, maybe once a week. God knows where they meet or what they do. I'm devastated and deeply depressed, and some days I forget to change my clothes from the day before or to shower or eat. I've had days where I cry and can't function, and other days where I just want to stop breathing and end my life. My wife and I still cohabitate and co-parent the kids at the moment, and she takes off for little hour-long dates with this guy maybe once a week because he has to sneak around from his wife. This could go on for years if this man isn't ready to admit his infidelity to his wife and move on. She has no money and has no place to go, so she's kind of stuck with me in our home, but I'm codependent and way too depressed to let her go. My hope, which may be a bad one, is this soulmate of hers is leading her on and may never leave his wife, or his wife catches him in this 3 to 5 year period and the affair falls apart. I'm just terrified now as I can't function. I'm not taking care of myself at all and I feel like dying. Mind you, I am not perfect and have likely not been attentive and affectionate enough, and I have played a part in her wanting to stray. I love her dearly and want her back and want to spend the rest of our lives together, and at the moment, day in and day out, I am heartbroken and in pain. I cry about it, I pray on it, and sadly nothing changes. I wish I had the power to turn back time and go back years and be that better spouse she needed and could save what's happening now. I'm in such a dark place here and need help and prayers. Here is the second story. I think my wife may have cheated 12 years ago. I'll admit I've been in denial. Back in 2008, I took a job transfer and was working long hours. She enrolled in school. We had been married 4 years and were both 28. Her first day of class she came home talking about some guy. The only guy in her class. She said if she was still a goth girl she'd have a judge crush on him. I didn't think much of it at the time. I attended a school function and Stan and I hit it off well. He was 32. Taller than me. Long hair, bad boy type, had worked as a tattoo artist. I really didn't think she would be into him and didn't feel threatened by their friendship. He was crashing on someone's couch and they were moving out of town and he needed a place to stay. Wife asked me if it was okay. I said yes. About 2 weeks later I had to go out of town for a month. The day after I left I talked to her and she told me they fell asleep in his room cuddling and watching movies. I'll admit I was a little suspicious. But I trusted her and I didn't want to start an argument while I was out of town. He started dating a friend of ours shortly after I left town. So I didn't think too much of it. A few months later we moved again and he stayed behind. In 2010 she admitted to having some sex dreams about him. No big deal, I thought. Then one day she told me she had seen his penis. I told myself the law of probability when two people live together. In 2012 I brought it up and she had no recollection of it. Then I asked her again in 2015 and she said that she had got a glimpse of it when she came into his room one day for something. Okay, fair enough. She would mention his name a lot and how she missed him. Over the years I would check emails and Facebook and never saw anything that should be concerning. 2015 seemed to be the change. She mentioned on several occasions that if we were to have a threesome, that is the guy she would want it with. Okay, I thought. Got on her computer one day and saw several messages. One from her where she told him she had shown his picture to all her coworkers and they thought he was hot. He replied, "What I want from you I can't get from them." Another occasion I saw where she said "I love you" to him 3 times in a row. His account was suspended so I couldn't see his replies. I just shrugged this off and figured she meant as a friend. Another occasion she said she was thinking about getting some tattoos and was thinking of him. One night after work she told me she showed his picture to a co-worker and she was amazed she didn't cheat on me with him. In 2018 to 2019 our sex life is non-existent. She's spending a lot of time with friends and putting a lot of effort into her appearance. Wearing thongs to work, etc. I went through her phone and saw no evidence of cheating but did find that she thought I was lazy. So I started helping out more with the kids and around the house. Things got better between us except the sex life. She still mentions him quite often and admits she had a crush on him. I feel that them cuddling together was pushing a boundary. I wish I would have addressed it at the time. My gut tells me that other boundaries have been crossed. For some reason in the past few months it's all I can think of. It's been making me sick. Since it was so long ago and I don't have any physical proof, should I just drop it? I contacted the guy's ex-GF. She said she had some suspicions years ago but thought my wife would never cheat. I told her everything that I know and she said yup, they had sex. I asked my wife tonight. She became very defensive and started yelling. Claimed they were just friends. She even called a friend and claimed she never did anything. Here are some of the best comments from our community. It sounds to me like she manipulated your trusting nature. I'm sorry, my friend. You know the answer. Since you let it slide the first time, she feels like she can get away with it as long as she wants. I hate to tell you this, but I'd bet my car that she's cheating right now. She doesn't want to sleep with you and she's wearing thongs? That only means she's not interested in sex with you, but anyone else is fair game. Sorry, dude. You might be stupid if you think that when you left a guy with your wife at your home, who cuddles with her while you go out of town, that they didn't have sex. You're an idiot. Want to get smart? Divorce her. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.